Hey everybody, welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley.
And today we're talking about the last 4 episodes of Season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy. So we got episode 17, Brink, episode 18, Touch of Grey, and then episode 19 and 20, which is Ouroboros, parts 1 and 2.
Ouroboros, yes. And we hope this is not the end of Prodigy, so hashtag more Prodigy, hashtag Season 3. Give these guys another season. Just saying right out the gate, Stuart. So, Stuart, what do you think of the epic conclusion of this season of Prodigy and the Prodigy story as designed?
As designed, it was brilliant, as always. These guys do fantastic work. They have a plan going into it, and they definitely deliver. So, the last 4 were kind of non-stop action. I think it was very, very satisfying, especially the last episode. The last, half of it was basically epilogues, which is really great, and I think it was very well done. It could be the end of the series, and I think that's a fitting end, but better not be the end of the series is all I'm saying. But no, I liked the pacing of it. I liked the way it kind of played out, although these 4 kind of meld together a little bit for me as to what's going on exactly. But how about you? Did you enjoy the last 4, and what did you think of the pacing of these?
I did enjoy the last 4, and it's funny because we said to ourselves, right, we're gonna save the last episode to one more day, because now they'll definitely pause it in the fight with the Essentia and leave on a cliffhanger, but then they end the story with another bigger plot with the looms. So he agrees the group, we've got to finish it tonight. So that's a good sign that you got to keep going a bull, which is really great. Definitely good. Definitely made the whole thing feel connected, although still some similar problems with having the previous season, small universe syndrome, lack of extras, some distance, space and time pacing. As soon as they're next to, the Valnakat homeworld and not being detected by these ships in visible range and flying a fighter, none of that makes any sense. So it kind of, there's some real structural problems with they didn't even try to explain some things, but ignore that and move on. I'm sure they had a thought, but they had to cut it from the script because of timing. But there's some big problems they needed to fix with that. I like the final battle with the Quantums. That was fun, although I guess they couldn't fight back because I always had to kill Voyager instantly. But it was kind of a one-sided shoot-a-thon, not really a battle. So I wish it was more of a battle, because it wasn't. It was just kind of a fly and pew. And they had no shields for some reason. But the ending's good, for sure. Link to Picard's good. I would have could have done another 10 minutes, or 20, or season. Because they really got you there. A little bit odd to have them launch in the USS Prodigy, which makes sense why it's called Star Trek Prodigy, because the ship's the Prodigy when they get in the... Which is great if they get more seasons. But certainly they needed a real officer aboard, because it's nonsensical. They'd just give the cadets, well, I guess, ensigns. You wouldn't do that. So I was expecting one legacy person to go with them as the chaperone.
But the Valiant, Red Squad.
Exactly, they had a chaperone crew who died. So
the
same thing. So that was definitely missing that. Great to Dakota in uniform at the end to get in the Voyager, good for him. And, Picard uniform at the end as well. So yeah, pretty good. Definitely epic on a relatively small budget. And you can definitely sense the small budget bits, but they tried these just insanely big things, but you can definitely feel the lack of budget. Where season 1, I guess, is smaller, so the smallness feels bigger, if that makes sense. This is bigness, but it feels smaller. Yeah, like when you come back to Earth and you see the portal open, it's the same 4 extras. The same 4 character models. I know all 4 of these bridge crew from the Voyager because they're the only 4 people we have. Here they are on Earth again. So things like that, they're okay. So needed more money.
Yeah, it does feel kind of empty the entire season. We've talked about that before with Voyager's crew not being... The hull's being remarkably empty for an 800 personnel crewed ship. So
you never once got a sense of that. Ever. Except maybe the end when they beam aboard to say hi to Valnakat. But specifically, let's jump into episode 17. We wonderfully joked, how do they get Wesley Crusher? And then it starts with how they get Wesley Crusher, which is very satisfying, because it made no sense conceptually until you see it. It's okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I like how he basically allowed himself to be caught so that Essentia could learn the time tech weaponry to make it possible for the kids to create the wormhole that needs to take the ship to Tarzamora. It was all like a predestination thing. That was really great, actually.
It added something to see that it was Wesley's plan all along, but then all the people that got murdered from all time on Voyager, it was always his plan to kill 100, because nothing got erased, nothing got reset, so 50 people got erased from the timeline, causing unknown time issues, was part of Wesley's plan. Bit harsh. There was no reset at any point, which I was a bit sad about because lots of murder and all the people on Solon that was less relevant. But I mean, he's thinking grand scheme, right? Doesn't matter if 50 people die on the Voyager from all time. But
that's what they say. As long as small things in time don't matter, it's the big events you need to take care of. But yes, I agree that erasing people from timelines is a pretty big event. But anyway.
Yep, that means they're not in the prime timeline anymore because that never happened in our timeline. So they've already diverged off because there's the version of time when those people didn't get erased. It's called the original version. But it's a complicated story, right?
And they put Gwen in charge, and she decides to split the team up. Some to go free Iltheron, and then the other ones to go free Wesley. And I love how once they get Wesley, he's like, no, that wasn't the plan. You guys were supposed to stay together. I don't know what's going to happen now because he shouldn't have saved Iltheron. He would have been fine and started the rebellion. Now I don't know what's going to happen. I think that's great. And it ends with him showing up on Voyager and kind of passing out, which the next episode shows you what happens right before that, before the credits, which was a really cool idea.
Yeah, that was a very satisfying... So as soon as you know it's all part of a plan, you start to ask the questions, and then to reverse out the plan. But then that's sort of undermined by later when he says to Dahl, I know what's coming for you. It's like, yeah, but you didn't if this was a grey timeline. None of this was happening in the way you knew, so you can't predict that's going to happen. So it kind of gets broken a little bit by that reference, but it's very complicated, right? So they're allowed to make some small things here or there.
Yeah.
Boone and Solom, a little bit silly though, because they walk through giant streets in a pack of like 6.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to bump into people. It's a very, very bad
cover
plan.
that. They bump into bottles which you try to stop. They trip over a rock. They knock a thing off. That's kind of funny.
But what's the chance there's one route? Like, they can't duck out of the way of like 3 people. So it's a really terrible plan. I thought it was, again, very kids-like. The cloak was fun, but structurally that was a really daft...
Fun Free the Prisoners episode, and I love the twist at the end where it's like, I don't know what's going to happen now. This wasn't what you were supposed to do. And Gwen doubts herself, and...
Oh, yes, she does.
And, yeah, it's actually pretty well done. I do love the emergency transporter thing, where Dahl, like, tosses it, and 2 to beam up, and it beams out Iltheron.
I don't know why he couldn't
Wesley.
say 5, because if the thing was built to...
That's what I thought.
Everybody. It's designed for that. He could have said 7 and get most everyone except 1. So that was, again, a slight problem. This is definitely the fun... bouncy episode before the serious Trek episode, because it was a bit silly but in a good way, and definitely the ending and the start are really fun. I love it's dumb as all hell, but I love it. The working the dreadnought like a marionette. Ridiculous but great. I laughed the whole time at that. It was really quite funny. And Young, I thought it's very subtle, but the performance of Young baddie villain lady Essentia was great. It was great. Really subtly different, but really effective. Pretty good episode. Definitely enjoyed it, but could have done with a bit more money, probably. Like the fact they break out of the... Like no one is guarding Wesley like inside, nor their security cameras, nor is there beaming, and they've got all these things, and they get out onto an empty thing as well. Bit odd, right? Just a bit odd.
Next episode, Touch of Grey, episode 18. I love the way this one starts off with Janeway waiting for the kids because they're on Solom, and Chakotay comes in and chats with her, and it's like, you forgot that I don't have patience, or I thought that was great. And then it's like, Admiral, get to the bridge. Wesley's here. Well, they don't say that, but Wesley shows up, and it's right where the other episode left off, which is cool to see like what was happening just prior in that format. So it's kind of like a next time on, but very quick.
Although it just made me wish that we got more scenes of these two together.
Yes,
because it was a really good, just 100% Trek scene, and we got like 2 of them over the course of the entire season.
Yeah.
But at least they recaptured that spark very, very quickly. And then Wesley, he's super broken. He can't use travel power, so we've nerfed his both able to see and able to do, which you have to do because he can literally rewrite reality. So yay, we nerfed him. Makes sense. And then, the plan to get onto the planet, I don't understand the logic of it, because they're going to detect... This is a xenophobic race without aliens, who didn't know aliens exist. Where the hell is this one fighter coming from if no one goes off-world? And Essentia sent... Like, no ship has ever left the planet, except Essentia's orders, which means you have a record of every ship. And all the fighters. They just wanted to reference Star Wars episode 6, I get it. But they didn't even try and make it make sense, which I think was a shame, because it could have been really fun with that.
And then the doctor pretending to be Dreadnought and says, it'll be a real humdinger. I'll save you a seat. It's like, ugh, really?
Like, this is a planet who knows they're about to kill time, and they don't care about security. So it definitely comes across as dumb, unfortunately, versus clever. And also no security going down, and this one's definitely again the fun, silly, and kind of resetting as well the paradigm. Because I wasn't super engaged in the alien time creature kicking their asses. It was just them sort of running around. There wasn't really anything meaty in there. There's the Janeway stuff, right? It's the legacy characters that are kind of like showing their bit. So that was fun. I could have taken or leaving the kids stuff because
I had one real issue with this episode, and that's when the Doctor pretends to be Janeway, which is fine. Gets shot, and this is his death acting, which is great.
Oh.
Yeah, the rest is darkness. And then he says, "Oh, I'm out," and he touches his mobile emitter, and that would normally like have it clink to the floor. But so did he cloak it? Did he cloak himself? What happened there exactly?
Yeah, there isn't beaming in that tech. And I'm not going to agree they could add a transporter to that. Sorry, I'm not going to go that far. And also, as soon as you hit a hologram, they get zzz, so like as soon as she hit, like it was a fun. I actually thought they could have killed Janeway. I thought it was actually quite a good fake out because I thought they could still reset time because in theory they should for all people that have been killed, right? So they could, should, would. So that, and I think you said earlier on in the season they could have killed Voyager and been very satisfying. So this I thought was a natural like we're running out of characters, we'll reset everything. But the fake out was pretty good. But yeah, that doesn't make any sense leaving.
There's not much to this episode. They just get the kids out. The kids are being chased by the loom in the prison.
And no one chases the kids on the ship that they know is leaving. Follow that ship! And they even pace it like, and we're safe. It's like, but you're on Solom still. You're there. It's very strange. Definitely some loss. And also the ship's just that close. Like, as soon as this jailbreak happens, they'd scan Solom's space and find the ships. But there's no attempt to hide these plot problems or like one line.
There was also the moment with hologram Janeway and the Doctor where she's like
Beautiful.
a big fan of his work. She's like, "You must have many admirers." It's like, are these two gonna hook up? Is hologram?
But it's so unethical, but also not.
Is the Doctor gonna get with hologram Janeway? Like that'd be an interesting twist.
Yeah, that was very strange, but also imagine the actors being told he's going to do this 20 years later. It's crazy. One of the best scenes of the piece, actually, and they should have had more of those two together, because they certainly tell you that this is Janeway being sort of sentient, 10 years of experience, like the Doctor had. And they said at the end, like, this is a rare breed of hologram, so have these two interact would have been fun. And just to see like Voyager uniform back on screen with Prodigy uniform, it's very sweet. I really like that. Such a good uniform. In general. Although, what a fun thing to build the Solemn fighter and never use it again in any way. Like, you know what I mean? Why you built a full model of this thing? And I also love the gag about Wesley saying, "I don't walk anywhere again. Don't walk anywhere anymore."
Yes, so, I figured you'd enjoy that because it's like Discovery where they beam everywhere. It's like I'm so used to stepping through portals, I forgot what quads are.
That's really funny. And then the Doctor's like, "Yeah, because you haven't got legs. Your hologram." That I thought was really funny. But definitely, the classic empty space. Solemn's empty, and you hear about the uprising, but you don't see it. They only got money for a certain thing. But had you told us 10 years ago, like I said, Wesley, EMH, Janeway, Chakotay all on screen together, that's all legacies that getting one back could be a big deal. So I was savouring those moments for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But the main plot is okay. And the fact that Loom was so easily subdued also nerfs them a bit more as well. These are literally the time wraiths of the universe, and Essentia trapped it. Which means Wesley could trap it, because Wesley is the tech that he has. So they can trap them, but also they can't stop them. It's like... But then we get to the end two-parter, Stuart, which is actually distinctly different episodes. Because the first part is the Solemn, the second part is the Loom and the Escape. So they're pretty well separated. It's not one two-parter, it's really two stories.
It's the typical, we got to climb to the top of this thing and then enter the thing and then something goes wrong kind of deal. And it's fine. I found it a little bit draggy, honestly. And I've watched it a few times now, and I don't relish watching it necessarily. Like, they could have paced it better, honestly.
Well, I think we don't associate Trek with hand-to-hand fights on roofs with giant sweeping crane shots. So those were two aliens that, like, it's very removed from what we know, whereas we like talkies and science. Like, some of the favorite Discovery episodes are the negotiation ones, because they're the Trekiest. Like, I liked this one quite a bit, because I thought it was paced mostly well, but again, I only watched it once, so therefore I've just seen it as a story. But like I said, the space battle is not really a battle. It's more just we're going to shoot them. I don't know why they're not shooting Voyager. They'd solve everything right away. I don't know why they take so long to go through the portals, because there's no reason they would.
Yeah, like there's multiple portals all going to different sectors of Federation space to like space
but not
stations
time.
and stuff.
These are only space.
Yes, exactly. And I do love the discussion that Rock and Wesley have, where they're kind of sorting out what to do, and they come to the conclusion that they need to use the device to make this large wormhole to get to Stars Lamora. I thought that was really well done. But yeah, it's just a lot of fighty, shooty, kicky. I mean, watching Murph fight a Dreadnought was kind of fun.
Well, the honest, if it had been smaller, it would have been better. 3 revs in orbit, proper space battle, simpler would have been better. Because they crammed a lot in. I mean, every character's in this. And talking. And doing. Oh, I love we finally got a second use of Dreadnought's cannons. Twice he transformed the cannons. Well, this is the future guy, so you can argue this is the war version. And did you not think Murph was going to die?
I did, yeah.
Because that I thought would be a really good moment of like sacrifice for the future. Kind of sad he'd lived. Not I don't like Murph, but I was like, that felt like a really good death. And then it's like, it's fine. It's like, okay.
Well, they let you think he dies for a few seconds at least, but...
Yeah, I did like how they closed the portals and which then destroyed every Valna catch-up, because that certainly helped.
Oh, yeah.
How are you doing this? I was going to kill them all in that one side effect of closing the portals. I thought was a very efficient use case.
Yeah, I loved them going through and them closing, and you just see the cut in half kind of thing. It was great. And
then you get Essentia blowing out her brain powers to not go against Gwen God. Oh... the power of the... I kind of thought she was going to stay on Solom and be the new queen or something. That felt like very much because she's born not Solom from future tech, she has enhanced powers, therefore she'll lead us as the savior. So I was kind of surprised she went back to Earth as if it was nothing. I don't know if you thought that going in, but I was like, that's such a thing that she would stay.
I never thought that, but it's interesting. I love that, yeah. Essentia's got her on the ground, about to kill her, stab her through the throat with the heirloom, and everybody's like, my power is your... Just run up and help her. Knock Essentia off of her. There's a bunch of people around. Like, yes, you're giving her your power. That's great. And she uses the Force at one point. She, like, takes her hands off the thing and, like... But I was so frustrated. You're right there. You can all swarm Essentia. But anyway, that's fine.
Yeah, they had an idea... And they went for it, right? Does it work? Some. And then you get the end where it's satisfying. They convert all the normal wormholes through space into one giant wormhole through time. It's unclear to me if this is meant to be the wormhole that steals a Protostar in the first place, and we'll debate this in our live, because we never see the Protostar the first time, what that happens to go back to the future. And they do not say in this episode, this wormhole is that wormhole. This wormhole gets from Stars Lamora to put it back. So what anomaly got coded to Solomon in the future? Because I thought they were implying that they would make that wormhole too, so 2 different wormholes, and they would see it happen. But we don't. So I'm wondering...
I think it's all a predestination paradox. This all had to happen for the ship to actually end up on Stars Lamora.
But I mean, Solom, though. I want to know how it got to Solom the first time.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I mean, that first wormhole. Like, it's fine, this fixes everything, but, like, the first thing... Because Stars Lamora is separate. Like, Solom is the initial, that's how it crashed. Like, but then we get the Lumen coming out. For a second, I thought they were going to do a giant reference to the Picard Season 1 coming out of the hole. Because it's literally the same visual. I was like, oh, are they going to link that somehow? No. But that'd be a hell of a retcon, wouldn't it, if those AI are actually the Loom? That doesn't make sense, but...
There was a cool moment as well, like navigation systems are offline, but not cetacean ops. And you see the whale doing the navigating for them. That was interesting.
Because that's the odd thing. Episode 20 is really simple. They fly forwards, and then they win. I thought there'd be more to the episode than that. Like, the Loom pose zero threat, no part of the plot, and they just... forwards, and then they just, like, I'm scrolling, we're 6 minutes in, and then we get the everything's fine, we save the universe, time, yay music, which is lovely, but it just solves it. I was confused by how it was the best ending, right? Luma could stay in the universe, boom, and nothing happens from that. They just go move through them. I was confused. Or let down, I suppose, pace-wise. What do you think?
I disagree. I thought it went very pace-wise very well. I'm glad it got kind of rectified quickly.
So I love that you liked.
Well, yeah, like it would have frustrated me to have that extended much longer, honestly, because the first one frustrated me a little bit. This one, I think, moved along very quickly, and I love that Voyager decided to go in the wormhole with them to clear the way with the loom, and then you get nice conversations of like, you know, I've seen your future. This isn't what you guys were meant to. Why I wanted you to hold together. That hasn't happened yet. That discussion from Wesley was kind of interesting.
Well, like I say, that's no longer the future because they've now changed everything because he didn't see it happening. So it might happen, but.
And then hologram Janeway being like, I'm not going to remember any of this. You know, I can't remember any. We can't back up. Of course you can. Use the holographic doctor's backup program.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's okay. You got 2 big ships, so it's fine.
But they were good scenes. They were really well done, really well written, I think, and it definitely satisfied. It scratched the itch that I would have if these weren't here, because if this was another show like Discovery or Picard, they wouldn't have covered this all necessarily. So I think this is Aaron Waltke, this last episode, and I think he did a great job with it. So,
well, it kind of felt like to me they didn't think they're necessarily going to get any more, which is a fair assumption because you get 40 and a big order to get more. We're going to wrap up everything really quickly and efficiently, and then let the episode breathe. Basically, do the Lord of the Rings 7 endings. But because this show is not just a show, it's a universe, it allows the show to fully connect and finish on its own terms, versus letting them... Because once you solve against Solemn, we're good, right? And the Loom are, I guess, neither here nor there. But it's nice to have those scenes after, to have every small thing addressed, and it is sweet, it is cute, and... Well, they do sort of hand wave that we saved everything. It's like, yeah, but what about all your crew that died? It's like, hand wave.
There's a few mentions of Admiral Picard. I wish we would have seen him. It would have been great. We do
just
see
a visual, yeah. Don't need to physically hear him, just see him, yeah.
You see the attack on Mars and how that changes everything. We get Admiral Jellicoe saying we don't have enough communicators to hand out to everybody. So you're basically not going to be able to go through the Academy. All things are kind of frozen right now.
Yeah,
that was kind of great.
Like Aaron said, this is all going to link together to Picard because they kind of had to. They were forced. This was not the original ending, right? They got kind of pushed this way because of Picard. But they are able to have these lines to kind of fix it because obviously they did go back to an old comm badge and a uniform and they addressed both. And like you say, just say we have enough comm badges because the Picard, the Prodigy ones are the new ones, but we only made half. So the rest of them will stay with the older badge, which was the old badge like 5 years ago. So that means you can coexist both badges because as a fan filmmaker, I want to know who has what. Good explanation. You can do both. You can do neither. You can swap. That's absolutely fine. Although the uniform is a bit odd looking in animation, the Picard one, because it's not designed for that. It's very big, you know. It did look good, but it's very big. Like it wasn't crafted for that style. They were like, right now we've got to make this work.
And it was a real recap of season 1 as well as this season. Lots of, the great montage of what's happened up to this point. So.
Oh yeah, you felt the feels. It felt like an epilogue / new beginning because it really is both at the same time. Speaking of, the Wesley scene with his mum was actually really good.
Yes.
It certainly helped save the first scene, which was super underbaked. This was just right length.
And he meets Jack. And Jack's old enough to say, "Who are you?"
Yeah. Which in Trek used to be earlier than otherwise. But that is great because that opens the door to say they could have hung out often. All you need is that 1 minute, right? And that does all these possible stories. So I'm really happy with that because that was really sweet and simple. And
Admiral Janeway retires until she's called back into active service.
Didn't buy that. I didn't buy that she'd retire, but they'll undo it in the same scene, so it's fine. And we didn't get anything of the subplot between Chakotay and Janeway. We were certainly teased there'd be those like love interesting, but we didn't get anything. I thought this scene would be like, come on, Catherine, for me. Like I was waiting for something, there was nothing. I don't know. I was kind of surprised.
Also love that Chakotay got command of the Voyager.
Sure.
That was awesome.
Maybe a psych eval first, but after 10 years alone, but hey, cool.
Hey, he's older than Janeway now.
Yeah, yes.
I love how they changed the hologram Janeway to the emergency command hologram to like help lead the kids, essentially. Interesting. And the Doctor's like, I coined that phrase. Yes, you did. A term I invented, I think he says. But, yeah.
And then we get the kids literally given a ship. It's an odd one in the sense that... Oh, I was doing something else. Oh, that's weird. The ship is the most powerful ship in the Armada currently. As in, it can jump anywhere, do anything. Yeah. Super useful to help Romulans evacuate, right? Even if it's got a day cooldown, that's the ship. So I get the sense that Janeway is like, we can't let Starfleet have this technology anymore because now they're on the back foot. Instant travel is too dangerous. So I'm going to give it to my kid friends.
Yeah, it becomes a training ship, she says.
Slightly contrived, but I like it, but contrived. And the thing I'm noting, this is editor me, there's a shot of Chakotay, the Doctor, and Janeway, and I was right, the Doctor's badge is up on the line, and Chakotay's where it should be lower. The hell? Why is it different? Yeah.
I love the addition of the first officer's chair to the bridge.
He looks silly, though.
I don't, but I like the idea, because it's very Voyager to have them.
I just wish there were different chairs, because those chairs are giant chairs. If they were newly designed proper chairs, and then two, great, but they were the same silly chairs.
And then the handoff to Gwen. Gwen's basically in charge. She's the captain, and Dal's, as you've been saying all along, will make a good first officer. So, yeah.
Those actors sold the hell out of that moment, both of them, because it is kind of a jump the shark, like a little bit. Like, we're jumping ahead a little bit story-wise, but both sold it fully. And, yeah, I really like that. And he does feel like a second officer. He can push the boundaries, but also be able to give orders, but also have good ideas and pilot. Very first officer.
And they look good in those uniforms, those new uniforms.
A bit showy for my liking.
I like
because they're very showy. But they do fix what I said about the Prodigy uniforms, not enough colour. Those things are full of colour. Yeah,
even Jankum's got a yellow one.
I like the yellow, yeah. Yeah. And he's got a new console too, at the back there. And they did change the bridge slightly. That's a whole thing, because they did change it, not a lot, but some. And yeah, ending on a Protostar ship by themselves, all these untrained officers with a Protostar. And no official mandate, just sort of go out and do during the Romulan evacuation. What a way to end, though. And now, it says Prodigy, so now it is called Star Trek Prodigy for a reason.
Can't say I caught that.
No, I didn't until I re-skimmed for this before I talked to you. Yeah, really very Star Trek end.
Left me feeling really good after having watched this and just watching this whole season. I sent Aaron a message saying thank you so much. I really appreciate that you did this, and that's Star Trek's back, essentially. And he's like, that means a lot coming from you, so that was awesome to hear as well.
Well, Star Trek is back as it finishes, as it might be never come back. It's kind of an ironic thing. Yeah.
But the feel of Star Trek after the last season of Discovery,
well, yeah,
this was way more enjoyable than Discovery.
And it's amazing that it's almost the perfect setup for what could now be a great Star Trek Prodigy aboard the Prodigy with this crew.
Yep.
God damn it!
Season 3. Hashtag save Star Trek Prodigy.
Yeah.
Or Star Trek Prodigy Season 3.
Yeah. Oi. So yeah, lots, and yet, very straight line, right? They didn't faff, but they let things breathe. Some we didn't love as much, like the hand-to-hand fight stuff, but some that we did, like other stuff. So it's a interesting construction for sure.
What did you think of these last 4 episodes, or just season 2 in general? Comment down below. Check out our other reviews if you haven't, and be sure to join us for the lives when we talk about this kind of stuff. We love it. So make sure you're subscribed. Notification bell icon is clicked, and please like this video as well and comment. And come join us for the lives where you can comment in real time with us.
And if you want to support what we do here, there, and everywhere, then join us as a monthly member over on Patreon, or join the channel on YouTube, or super chat your thoughts, comments, and questions on anything Trek or even non-Trek related, as we sometimes do that, or one-time donations, like so super chat. Also with thanks on any video, it's that button, click it, and thank you, or PayPal, trekyards@hotmail.com, or buy a shirt. Lots of ideas, lots of possibilities, and just keep watching our content, guys, because that is the most important thing.
So until next time, and hopefully another season of Prodigy down the road.
Or a movie, or a miniseries, or a game, or all the above.
He's Commander Cockings.
He's Catafoli. Bye,
See you later, guys. Bye.